Wow, what a week for AI. I mean, it is moving at a dizzying pace, right? This week alone, we saw major breakthroughs, some pretty serious warnings, and a glimpse into a future that's, well, it's getting here way faster than we thought. So we've cut through all the noise to bring you the 10 biggest developments that you really need to know about. Let's get right into it.
So you gotta ask, was this AI's biggest week yet? I mean, from mind-bending research to some pretty heavy warnings about the future, we're counting down the top 10 stories that are literally shaping our world as we speak. This is what's happening right now.
All right, let's kick things off at number 10.
Okay, get this. Imagine you could take any normal object, right? And with this little handheld device, you could just give it this shimmering, color-changing, iridescent surface. It sounds like something straight out of science fiction, but it's not. It's called Morphochrome. Researchers over at MIT have built this incredible system that pairs software and hardware to literally paint with light. It's taking digital design and pulling it right into the physical world. Pretty wild stuff to start us off.
All right, coming in at number 9, we're shifting gears a bit to see how AI is tackling some of the gnarliest problems out there in the business world.
So here's a massive problem for huge industries. A lot of their biggest headaches, think supply chain logistics or managing a giant fleet of trucks, are at their core just really hard math problems. But here's the bottleneck. You have business people who speak, plain English, and then you have the optimization software that only speaks complex math. Translating between the two requires a super specialized, rare kind of expert. Well, until now. And this is exactly where Microsoft's new tool, OptiMind, steps in. It's basically that expert translator we were just talking about. A user just describes their problem in everyday language, and the AI does the heavy lifting. It converts it into the perfect mathematical formula, and boom, the optimization software can get to work. I mean, this could unlock huge efficiencies, all by getting rid of that human bottleneck.
Okay, for number 8, we're seeing a major power move from the world of academia. They're basically making a play to counterbalance the sheer dominance of the big corporate AI labs.
So, Stanford's Human-Centered AI Institute is teaming up with 2 of the top tech universities in Switzerland. And their goal? Well, it's a big one. They want to build powerful, open-source foundation models. Think of these as the core engines that make things like ChatGPT work. But here's the twist. By making them open source, they're putting societal values, things like transparency, ahead of purely commercial goals. This is a huge push to make sure the future of AI isn't just decided behind closed doors in corporate boardrooms.
All right, let's dive a little deeper into the fundamental research with number 7. This one is all about teaching AI to see our world in a totally new way. We live in a world of 3 dimensions, plus time, right? But for the longest time, most AI models have only seen the world through static 3D snapshots, kind of like just looking at photos. Well, Google DeepMind's new model, called D4T, changes all that. It actually builds time in as a 4th dimension, and this is a huge deal. It's a critical step towards getting AIs that can actually understand and reason about a world that's always moving.
But of course, for every big advance, there's always a countermove. And that brings us to number 6, where we're seeing the rise of, you could almost call them digital antibodies. They're literally designed to fight back against AI.
This really opens up a new front in this sort of invisible AI arms race. So on one side, you've got these AI models that are constantly crawling the web, just hoovering up data to learn. But on the other side, you now have this new tool called Poison Fountain, and its job is to fight back by intentionally feeding those web crawlers little bits of subtle, incorrect junk data. The whole point is to try and corrupt the AI models from the inside out.
So, building on that idea of AI getting more and more capable, number 5 is all about the relentless push to make AI agents more autonomous.
OpenAI just gave us a peek into their work on something they're calling the Codex agent loop. Now, this is a big deal because we're moving way beyond just chatbots that can answer questions. We are talking about agentic AI. These are systems designed to actually use tools, interact with software, and work on their own in digital spaces to get complex, long-running jobs done, all without a human having to hold its hand the whole time.
All right, we are now in the top 4, and the theme here gets really serious. We're talking about safety, and at number 4, we have a critical warning coming out of the medical field.
So, researchers at MIT's CSAIL are raising a major red flag. What they've shown is that AI models used in hospitals and clinics can sometimes, they can memorize parts of the data they were trained on, and this creates a terrifying risk that these systems could accidentally leak supposedly anonymized, but still very sensitive patient health data. This could cause some really serious harm.
Okay,
On to number 3. I want you to just try and wrap your head around the unbelievable scale that AI is already operating at right now.
800 million. No, that's not a company's valuation. That is the number of ChatGPT users that the engineering team at OpenAI has to support. The scale is it's absolutely mind-boggling, and it creates a technical challenge that's almost hard to comprehend.
And, the story behind that number is really a masterpiece of engineering. OpenAI basically had to take a standard, off-the-shelf database technology and perform some incredibly complex engineering magic to make it work reliably at that insane scale. This is the invisible stuff, the unglamorous work that nobody sees, but it is absolutely what makes this whole AI revolution possible for hundreds of millions of people.
Coming in at number 2 is a really profound story. It's not about AI replacing humans, but about AI augmenting human genius to push the very frontiers of what we know.
So, some researchers just published a brand new mathematical proof. Okay, so what, right? Well, here's what's so special. In the paper, they state that the proof was discovered with very substantial input from Google's Gemini and another specialized AI. This is one of the first crystal-clear examples of what people are calling Centaur science. You have human experts and AI systems working side by side as real collaborators, achieving something that neither one of them could have done on their own. It's incredible.
And that brings us to the number 1 AI story of the week. This is a moment where the fiercest corporate rivals on the planet, companies that are usually at each other's throats, put all of that competition aside to issue a single, stark, and unified warning.
This is something we've never seen before. You have over 40 researchers from the absolute top AI labs. We're talking OpenAI, Google DeepMind, Anthropic, and Meta, all signing on to the same paper. And their message? It's a sobering one. They're warning that as AI gets better at reasoning, its thought processes are becoming more advanced, and maybe even a little alien. And they believe our brief window of opportunity to actually monitor and understand how these things think, well, that window could be closing, maybe for good.
That leaves us with a final, really powerful question to think about. We've seen it all this week, from painting with light to co-discovering mathematical proofs. AI is getting exponentially more powerful. But as it does, are we getting to a point where we're losing our ability to understand the very thing that we've created?